Welcome to Culture on Tap. We are a podcast that is about bridging the cultural gap one conversation at a time. I am Xavier Bright, and I have Dale Young to my right.
You made it weird. I don't know if you wanted me to say my own name.
Yeah, I was planning on doing that, but the first two times I've said your name.
That's
so
why I was like,
sorry, my bad.
But my name is Dale Young.
Yes, and we have our good friend behind the scenes, Range Armentar, and we've already established that both of his names are spelled wrong.
His middle name's right though. Joseph, spelled correctly.
And he got a silent I in there.
You say that weird though. You say it Joseph. It's Joseph.
What's the difference?
Joseph.
Joseph. Okay, the Z instead of
Z.
a
Yeah, he says it with a Z
Joseph?
instead of a.
Joseph.
I don't know.
Joseph.
I used to say it really weird too whenever I was little. I don't remember how, but Drake says it the same way.
Well, who can blame you? I mean, you got I in your name, and ours all jacked up. Because your name, your the way you spell your last name should be Armentor, not Armentar.
Right, and I get that often. That
Do y'all say it wrong?
I mean, it's possible.
They probably
Okay.
just
There's
sold
some
out to
Armentors
IOA,
Yeah,
like you know,
IOA, right.
There's some that put an I in there.
like in your family.
Armentar?
Well, like distant family.
Well,
but-
wait, y'all were the same family, and y'all spell your last name differently?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is
At the
something
family
we didn't know.
reunion, there's two different like signs. One's with an I, one's with a.
But it's Armentar, both of y'all.
It's all Armentar.
Lord have mercy. If that ain't some, never mind. I ain't gonna. We just gonna get into the episode. If you haven't already, please like, subscribe, and share on anywhere you listen or watch your podcasts, and make sure that you hit the bell so that you can get notifications whenever we have new content coming out, so that you can tap in with us. Today, we are going to talk about our family dynamic, parenting, and all of the things. You know, last time we talked about marriage. This time we're going to be talking about our entire fam. But before we get into that, I just want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Houston Radio Platinum, playing the best classic hits. You can download the Houston Radio Platinum app. It's in your app store, or just ask Alexa to play Houston Radio Platinum. So do so. It's amazing. Do you listen to Houston Radio Platinum?
I do. Yes. I don't listen to a lot of music.
That didn't sound too convincing.
No, I was trying to, like, if I'm listening to music, I would say I try to listen to it to try to help the station. I'm more of a podcaster, talk show person.
Gotcha.
So yeah. So I don't want to say like all the time and you know, Joey come here and be like, lion. I do listen to it. And I will say, if they do play some amazing music.
Yes, the best soft rock of the 70s, 80s, and 90s.
Yes.
So thanks. But today, we're going to get into the episode talking about the family dynamic. So what was your initial expectation?
Do we want to first talk about what our family dynamic is?
Sure. Go for it.
Since we're there?
Yeah.
So as we talked about last week, me and my wife are coming up on 20 years.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 15-year-old son, which is crazy, that's fixing to turn 16.
You from the South, you said fixing?
Fixing? Yep.
Go ahead, sorry.
You feel better about yourself?
I do.
Okay, just making sure. And then we have a 14-year-old daughter. She is a year and 26 or 27 days younger than him. That's him. Well, we had them pretty quick, back to back. 15, 14. And then we waited like 8 years, and God called us to adopt, and we have our youngest that is 6, Ryan, who is 6 and built like the middle linebacker for any professional team.
Ray Lewis, Brian Urlacher.
She just
Mike Singletary.
wreck shop.
Patrick Willis.
Yeah. So we
all
have,
of them put together.
Because our thought process was we'll have them both early, get them out, and then just be me and my wife.
Yeah. Beautiful.
But then Ryan threw all kinds of stuff out of whack.
Mm-hmm.
She ain't going nowhere. She's gonna be around for a while. Just so y'all know, my youngest is autistic, and she is the clear heartbeat of our family. Controls everything that goes on. So
Yes, I would agree.
what
And
about
then
your family?
controls everything that goes on with our family too.
I think
Sometimes.
if you were part of our life, she controls your home. She controls your marriage. She controls
Everything.
Yeah.
Yes. So my family, been married to Lauren since June 23rd, 2012. We have 3 kids. We have Deuce, who is Xavier Jr., but technically he's not a junior because his middle name is different
What is your middle
than
name?
mine. Krishna.
Krishna.
I don't know what my mom was thinking. Hindu god.
Yeah. That's yo mama.
Yes. That's my middle name. But I didn't want to
Continue
do that to my son. So
because so we're clear. When your mom named you, it wasn't like she just didn't believe in God and
yeah.
she just thought it was a pretty name.
It was a pretty name. So she
Which, if you know your mama, I believe it.
ridiculous. I love you. But we didn't want to do that, so we named Deuce after my dad. His middle name is Olson.
I knew his middle name, but I did not know that was your dad's middle name.
Yeah, that's my dad's middle name. So we gave him my dad's middle name because it sounds better.
Yeah.
And there's some,
I like it.
Emotional attachment to it, and it's good family name. So he's not a junior, but we call him Deuce. Anyways, he is going to be 9 in April. We have Zabi Cage.
Crazy.
Yeah, I know. Whenever
He's
we came
almost a
around,
youth, bro.
he's going to preteen camp this next year, which is crazy to think about. Whenever we came around, he was 2. Whenever we started hanging out. We have Zabi Cage. He is our Tarzan / Mowgli.
Named appropriately.
A rebel.
My guy.
Just amazing kid. He's 7. He just turned 7. And then we have Kaya, who is, if Ryan wasn't a part of this friend group, she would be the one that controlled
everything.
And
they don't get along.
They do not get along. Kaya is amazing. She is very strong-willed. I often say she gets both Lauren and I's stubbornness together. Like she has both. But she
will
5.
be your biggest fan and your worst enemy within a 2-minute span.
Minutes.
And you don't even have to know what you did.
The change of the wind trajectory goes a different way, and she's different. But she is 5. So that's our family dynamic.
Name is Lauren.
Chris Ann. Yes. Her middle name is Lawrence. Zavi's, I was literally just throwing things out. I was saying a whole bunch of different names together.
Yeah.
And then Lauren liked Zavi. And so I was saying Zavi Cornelius, Zavi this, Zavi that. And I was just being kind of funny. And then I said Zavi Cage. And she was like, oh, I like that. And so we went with it. So.
Well, I didn't give my kids' middle names out. So my son, Ethan, his middle name is Dale. I did not want a third. I'm a junior.
Another Murphy would have been.
Yeah, I did not want. We already decided we weren't calling him Trey. My dad goes by Murphy. I go by Dale. I was like, so we'll keep the Dale part. Not the Murphy part. Charlie's actual middle name is Dawn. However, when she was born,
and her name is Charlotte.
Charlotte, actually.
Right.
Charlotte.
She's Chuck to me.
Yeah, we call her Charlie after my grandfather. Her middle name is Dawn, which is the same as her mother's. However, when she was born, for whatever reason in my head, I announced to the world that Charlotte Grace was born. And to this day, Charlie would rather be called Charlotte Grace. So she introduces herself as Charlotte Grace, not Charlotte Dawn anymore, which is typical of who she is. And then Ryan is Ryan Ellie from Michelle's Ryan is one of my best friends that died in Iraq. His name is Danny Ryan, and or Daniel Ryan, and we gave her the name Ryan for him. And then Ellis was her grandfather's middle name. We named her Ellie after him because he actually used to say before he passed away that he always wanted a black grandchild.
Oh, wow.
I don't know why. I actually never met him. He died before me and Michelle got together. From what I hear, he was a great man. So that's how.
Yeah, you know that. Wow.
Yeah. Look at there.
Learn new things every day.
And Range has 3 adopted children. So why don't you tell us about your kids before we jump in, Range?
Yeah, for sure. So they're not normal.
Whoa.
Whoa. I don't disagree.
Well,
but
yeah, they're a handful. So starting out, we have Drake Joseph.
Not Joseph.
Who is 1 day older than Kaya.
Yes.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So they'll be turning 5, which is crazy.
Yeah.
So, and then 6 months behind Drake, we have Ryder Lee,
AKA
Tootie,
AKA Canelo,
AKA a lot of other stuff, which is really funny because Drake doesn't have near as many.
He's just Drake Joe.
Nicknames. He's just Drake Joe.
Draco. I call him Draco.
Yeah.
Yeah, but he gets upset about it.
Yeah. He doesn't. He wants more nicknames, and so he comes up with them for himself.
David,
such as David,
Star-Lord.
yeah, those type of things. So he has a few other nicknames
that he calls himself.
That he calls himself. Yeah. But then rounding out, we have
how? But you just say how old?
Oh, so Ryder's 6 months younger than Drake, so he's about to be basically 4.5.
Y'all basically wrapped your head around adopting and then adopted.
And then just jumped feet first, which I'm sure that'll be a whole nother.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we'll talk about adoption on one of these.
Yeah. So, and then rounding out for right now, we have Mr. Jet Taylor, who I feel like is third in line for running the show in this spring.
He also doesn't get along with the 2 girls.
No, he doesn't. He likes to just walk up and take stuff from Ryan, such as her iPad or something like that, and she pushes him down, sits on him, or
whatever gets it back.
She rains fire on him.
So, yeah, but that's my 3, and there's not really much behind their names. Drake's middle name is obviously the same as mine. Ryder's middle name is after Jessica's dad. His middle name is Leroy, so it's Ryder Lee. And then Jet, we just pulled everything out of thin air for him.
Y'all just liked it. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Is Ryder from Flynn Rider from Tangles, or did y'all just like Ryder?
Just liked it.
Okay.
Lee ain't from Fleur de Lis. It ain't from that.
No. I mean, that makes sense, though. That makes sense.
I promise. I thought that that's what the Lee was from.
Right.
Like Florida Lee.
Florida Lis.
But Fleur de Lis. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So just so you can wrap your head around this, because we are all going to Disney together in November. And that's not including Eric and Meredith and all of their children. Now, granted, besides Sophia, the rest of their boys are all grown. So they're older, so they're going to know how to act in public most of the time. But we will be going, and they will meet us in Orlando. We will be going that many deep through security. It's going to be
mass chaos.
Yes. Which leads into a great conversation of your initial expectations of what your family's going to be. So what you have? Because you were like last episode, you thought you were going to be the greatest couple. You're going to write
known
a book.
To man.
You were going to write a book before you were married.
We were going to write a book at 22 years old. So the kids were just going to fall in line.
So you thought the greatest about being a father too.
I didn't. I thought it was going to be a byproduct of how great my marriage was going to be. I'm just being 100%. Like, I thought that's what it was going to be. I had this expectation of what my kids were going to be like. My kids weren't going to be like other kids. My kids were going to, and I don't have horrible kids.
No.
But there was this expectation that they were going to come out loving Jesus.
Well,
They were going to, do all of the great things.
know all 66 books by year one.
Please, that was going to be the first. They first word was going to be Yahweh, because it's easy, not mama, dad, Yahweh. That was just the thing. So that's what I thought it was going to be like. And I was wrong.
Yes, you were, because I've been there.
To say the least, I was wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so funny because, like, if you know them and their children, and like you said, I would not ever classify their kids as horrible, but they have strong personalities, all different.
Yes.
In very different ways, which is very interesting.
Yes. What about you? What was the expectation that you had?
So mine was completely different. I had no desire to be a father.
Oh wow.
Sorry, kids. But so like I'm just being honest. Like, it was hard enough for God to wrap around my head to get married. And I remember when me and Michelle were dating, she was like, I want kids. And I'm like, I'm sure at some point I'll get there. Like, and just so we're clear, if you're dating, y'all need to iron that out.
Yeah.
But Michelle was very clear. She wanted 5, which I'm so thankful that we stopped at 3. Brian helped with that. She wanted 5. She wanted to have 2 and adopt 3. That was the plan for her.
What was the significance to the numbers?
I really don't know.
Okay.
I just know that she had this passion to do it that way. And so I remember we were, a couple years into marriage, and I remember she wanted a dog, which, let me just tell you, if you don't have kids, when the wife starts asking for the dog, that is a tell sign that the baby fever's coming, because the dog will surpass for a little bit, but it ain't the same. So we got the dog, and then she started, and here's the problem. She's like, I think I want a baby. I was happy. Like, it was just me and you. Like, we're still trying to figure this thing out. We can stay up all night. Go
and come as we please.
Yeah, like there was multiple times, like at 1 o'clock in the morning, I would wake up and like, hey, let's get dressed. Let's go to Gulf Shores, or it was 2 hours away. Like, we just go and do.
Yeah.
And I loved that life.
Yeah.
And she wanted a baby.
Ruined
it. Ruined everything. And so
kidding.
Yeah, just kidding. So we got pregnant with Ethan, and from the day I almost said tested positive. I guess it is
for COVID.
yeah, positive. But she tested pregnant on the little stick thing. I don't know how you call that. The stick said she was going to have a baby.
There we go.
And so
she tested pregnant.
I went into sheer terror. Like, I was still trying to wrap my head around being a husband. And now I'm going to be a father. And I remember, I passed out, smooth out in the delivery room. Like, my wife will still tell you she was so upset. She had a C-section, and I looked over the sheet where they're doing all that.
I didn't look over. I did not look over.
I looked up, and the head was just hanging out.
No.
And I sat down, and
I stayed by her head.
I was by her head, and all I was thinking is, keep it together until the baby's out. Baby came out, and I said, I need a nurse, and dropped like a ton of bricks. Like, I was out. And she was so mad because they're supposed to be working on her, and they literally had to pick me up and carry me to the couch, got me a Sprite, got me a wet washcloth for my forehead because I was dizzy. I was dizzy. And I remember coming out to tell the family, like, we had our baby. I guess I was still white, so they thought something was wrong. I'm like, no, she's fine. I'm a little out of it right now. And so we had number 1. And the crazy part is, like, literally they're a year and 27 days apart. So we had number 1 and turned right around and started having number 2.
Yeah.
I distinctly remember, this was the crazy part for me. I distinctly remember the night we brought Charlie home. Ethan was in the bedroom and Charlie was in the bedroom, both crying at the same time because it wasn't twins, but they're only a year apart, so it's basically twins. I could argue in some ways that it's worse than twins. And my mom and Michelle's mom like basically pushed me out of the bedroom, and they went in there with Michelle helping her, and I laid on the couch and just cried. Like, what have I done? Like, that's literally how I felt. What have I done, and why is this happening to me?
I mean, do you need a book? I know how you did it. You know how you did it.
Yeah. And it's like, and so, we went through that, and then there, and then the sad part is, not sad's the wrong word. Let me retract that. The crazy part is we, shortly after having them, Michelle started pushing for the adoption part. And I was like, you got to chill. And I was able to keep her at bay for a while. And then God put it on my heart too. Luckily for me, we ended at 3 because Ryan is three children. She's 3 children.
So y'all got 5.
We got 5.
Yeah.
That's how it worked. But yeah, I was not, my expectations was, can I just live through this?
Yeah.
Like,
can we make it?
Yeah. Cause, and here's a great part. No part of parenting yet has been anything I expected it to be. Even the parts that I thought I would be good at.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah.
No, I mean, I would agree. Like, I think for me, because Deuce and Xavi are 16 months apart. So a year and 4 months or so.
That's still close.
Yeah, still real close.
You're just grasping what it is to have a kid, and you're doing it again.
Yes, and it was, I will say, Deuce's delivery, Lauren had a C-section with him. I remember being by her, don't look at the sheet or don't look over the sheet. And then I heard him crying for the first time. And it was like, that made it real. I was like, I was fine up until that point. But whenever I heard him cry, I was, oh.
Yeah.
We here.
We
ain't going nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like literally.
But y'all are better than us. Like didn't y'all have like worship music playing?
No, that was Xavi.
Oh, y'all did better the second time around.
Yes.
We never did good. It was just pandemonium.
No, Xavi's delivery was absolutely amazing. It was hard. It wasn't hard for me. But it was hard because days before that, Deuce was sick. So we were in the emergency room with him.
I vaguely remember that.
With him all night. I had to work all day at Youth Reach, and then I had the overnight. And I was finally, because we were in the emergency room until like 5 a.m, and then I had to turn around and be on duty at 7. So I didn't sleep at all. Came in, laid my head down to do the overnight, and then Lauren says, hey, my water just broke. So I had to go to the hospital. And it was like I was there. See, I had the expectation of I'd get there. He's already here. We take a few pictures, and then we go to sleep. No, her and Shelly, her doula, they're sitting there laughing. I'm like, "What? This isn't what I expected. Where's the baby?
Yeah,
still in her tummy." But then going through the whole process, finally get to 6:30 in the morning, where she's pushing King's Kaleidoscope. How Deep the Father's Love is playing as he comes out. And it was just like, I will never forget that feeling. Words fail me in expressing that feeling, but I will never forget that moment. She caught him as he came out.
Lauren caught him.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, she's
athlete.
Yeah, she's a beast. But she caught him, put him on her chest. And then Shelly looked at me and was like, how are you doing? I'm like, tired. And she was like, go ahead, go lay down. But yeah, it was an amazing.
Glad that yours was beautiful because I think when we had our second, the disdain my wife had on her face for me, because it was in the chart that I'd passed out in the first one. So they brought in my own nurse.
Beautiful.
Because we did C-section second time. So my own nurse I'm not joking, was behind me, had put a fan on my face, and was giving me a back massage.
They should do that for all dads. I'm kidding.
As I'm sitting there at Michelle's face, and she's looking at me like, you're dead to me.
Yeah.
But I didn't pass out.
Hey.
I didn't look.
There we go.
The massage was wonderful.
So she did her job.
She did her job. I did my job.
Yeah.
Worked out well.
Beautiful. Beautiful. What were some early struggles that you had when it came to parenting?
Early struggles for me was making the decision. Honestly, for me, was us making the decision that we were going to do it different than everything we'd been taught.
Wow.
And it was hard because there wasn't a lot of people feeding that narrative. Like, and I mean that from, I have a son who, and I think we'd agree, is probably the kindest kid I've ever met.
Absolutely.
Could not be more different with me when it comes to the things he loves. You have a boy, if you're an athlete, you immediately think, we're going to be on the field together.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to throw.
Yeah.
I'm going to teach you how to shoot, all these things. I realized at 5 that that's not going to happen.
Yeah.
He was not that kid. He didn't want to be that kid. And I had to make a decision to either, and here's what was the realization for me at a very young age. My son said, Dad, if it'll make you love me more, I'll play. And I was like, no. So we walked away from baseball. I mean, I remember he wanted to do golf at one point, and we signed up for First Tee in Texas. And he played one season of golf and was like, I know how to play golf, Dad. I don't want to play anymore. Karate was the same thing. We did one belt test. He passed it. I am a karate master. I am done. And so I had to make a decision to love my kid and encourage him to be how God had wired him.
Yeah.
Or to try to make him live out my aspirations that I felt in.
Yeah.
So I fell in love with my son, not the things that he loves. And so we're Legos. We still do Legos. That is our time together to play video games, and he likes Dungeons and Dragons and things that I would never want to do, but it's important to me to do them with my son.
Yeah.
So that's our thing. We do things like that. We're right now we're in movies. We love we're kind of walking through 80s movies that he's never seen, and which I'm just going to tell you, everybody. This is a side note. Everybody always talks about how things were better. Go back and watch some old stuff. I don't know that I'd say it's better. So early on, just struggles, I think, was pushing against the grain on what it meant to raise a son and a daughter.
Yeah. No, that's good.
I think the question we have to ask ourselves is the goal to raise a godly man and a godly woman, or to raise them to be an American man and an American woman, to have the American dream, which is different.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I'm meddling, huh?
Meddling. Hey, go ahead, meddle.
But I just feel, is it more important for your kid to get a college scholarship or to lead someone to Jesus? It's still more important for my kids to love Jesus than any of that other stuff. First of all, I ain't got the money to send you to college.
Yeah, that's
like,
true.
You're going to figure it out. It ain't going to be my problem.
Yeah.
So
our money makers ain't making us money.
Making that much. Now, if you want to subscribe to the show, maybe we can get there. But yeah, I think early on it was trying to figure out what it looked like. I grew up in a home where when you screwed up, you got hands put, whoopings and stuff.
Yeah.
And growing up with children that maybe that's not the first reaction. Trying to have conversation with them instead of just that whole mindset of be seen, not heard.
Yeah, yeah.
Letting them walk through life with being able to actually ask questions.
Yeah.
So it was we were young, so we were trying to figure that out as well.
Yeah. No, that's good.
What about you? Early years struggles?
I would say it's a little different for us because I noticed the struggle within me and Lauren.
Hmm.
So I would be the one to discipline. I would be the one that was basically the one to get on to Deuce, and she would be the one that coddled. She would be the
Good
one
cop,
that,
bad cop.
yes. And what I noticed was that even within our dynamic, like it was me getting on to Deuce, Deuce running to Lauren, me starting to feel some type of way towards Lauren,
Yeah.
Lauren feeling some type of way towards me because she thinks I'm being too hard, and it's causing division between us to where Deuce is a smart kid. I know everybody says that about their kid, but he's really a smart kid, and
he knew what he was doing.
he would play us
Yeah.
against each other, and it was like, dag, like I'm getting on to Deuce, but I'm feeling some type of way towards Lauren.
Yeah.
You know, and I can see that she's feeling some type of way towards me.
Right.
And so it was causing friction and causing problems between us, even to the point where it was a matter of whenever he would do something, she would be like threatening him with me. You know, like, and it is just, it created
Like when your daddy gets
a
home.
horrible dynamic between, first off, Lauren and I, because we're feeling some type of way towards each other, but also a horrible dynamic between me and Deuce that still is there a little bit, trying to, hey,
Kind of rebuild that bridge.
I love you,
Yeah.
and I'm going to get on to you. I'm going to be hard on you, not for the sake of being hard on you, but you're a sinner in need of a savior.
Yeah.
I'm not your savior. Jesus could be your savior, but like, these are the rules, these are the boundaries, these are the guidelines. This is what you need to do. If anything's outside of that, then you're going to get in trouble. Plain and simple. I mean, you see that in the garden. Like, God didn't control Adam and Eve, but he gave them boundaries.
Right. And there was consequences.
There was consequences if you get outside of those boundaries.
Absolutely.
So he didn't create a place where you have to do this this way, this way, this way, this way. But he was like, hey, stay within these boundaries. Anything outside of it, you're going to get in trouble. You know what I'm saying?
Would you agree, though, because we talked about this in the last episode, this also enforced y'all's struggle of communication.
Absolutely.
So now it's just breeding in another
Aspect
yes.
of the lack of communication.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, that was the biggest early struggle. On top of, with Deuce, it seemed as though he was very sickly, always getting sick, something like that. So we're like just freaking out. Or there was one time he had this weird cough. We called the ambulance. And it's like,
I can see it.
Like, what are we doing?
And then you got friends like us who forget to turn the oxygen on.
Ryan
Yeah.
is causing chaos in my heart. Like, what are we doing? But so on top of it was just always this tension. And this was when Deuce was born, it was a rough time in our marriage. Because I had secret sin that I wasn't dealing with.
Yeah.
So it was like all of these different dynamics,
there's
all
secret
of these
sin, and now we're bringing a new life into this.
And it was horrible.
Yeah.
Well, at one point I had purple hair.
There's things in your life that I've heard. That's when if I'd have known.
There's one picture. I don't know where the picture's at, but I had purple hair.
I would have banged you up so bad over purple hair.
I had purple hair. Like, it was bad. It was.
But wouldn't you agree that most? I think this is good because I think most couples struggle. You will quickly see how you communicate when kids come involved.
Yeah.
And I'll say that what helped me and Michelle early, I think that we got on the same page of how we wanted to discipline our kids early, not because it was inside of us. We had a lady in our church that came up to us one day, and I thought this was a very powerful statement. She said, if y'all were on the opposite sides of the battleground, then your marriage would never be holy. And I was like, ooh. And,
good.
and not saying that we don't we always kill it, but to me, a huge downfall in our marriages is when our children know how to make us hate each other or be mad at each other.
Yeah.
Like that they have that much power over the emotion of parents.
Yeah.
Like it's not their fault.
Yeah.
Like they're greedy people. Like, like you can't blame them.
Yeah.
But we fail miserably. I think that's so true. And I think a lot of it's a pride thing. We want someone to blame. And I think it's a typical, I'm not stereotyping moms and dads, but when kids act up, our pride in dads is we are going to drop the hammer.
Absolutely.
Because you are embarrassing me and people feel away. Moms, on the other hand, is like, if I can overlook it and just love them, we don't have to address the fact that it is wrong.
Yeah.
So I think it's
good and bad.
Yes.
So like how my child's behavior is in public stirs up a lot of pride in me. Either
Absolutely.
praise from people, like if it's good behavior, or if it's bad behavior, what do they really think about me?
Yeah,
absolutely. Do they think I'm a good parent?
Absolutely.
Or clearly they don't because my kids don't know how to act.
Right.
So it stirs up all this pride in me, good for their bad behavior, but also for their good behavior too.
Yeah.
Like look at me.
Yeah.
Let me pat myself on the back because I'm killing it as a dad.
Yeah. Absolutely. No, that's good. Yeah.
What about current struggles? Like you have teenagers.
Yeah, you don't have teenagers yet.
You have 2 teenagers.
It's hard. I will tell you that we are blessed. I think that where me and Michelle, I'm not gonna try to sit here and sound arrogant. Like we had a plan and we've seen it
executed it.
Yeah. Like God has provided. We have children who love the Lord better than I ever could at their age, that are great kids, and they have very strong, open communication with me and my wife. We are very close with our kids, but we are very protective of our time. We don't, our kids at this point right now don't date, and I even told them when they do, don't be bringing no knobby knee boy over here on Christmas morning. That's my time. Until you get engaged and married, I ain't sharing Christmases. I ain't sharing vacations. This is my time, and because I only get so many of them. But I would say the struggles are, as they're teens, you got a son who starting to feel some kind of way about an alpha male. It's just growing in him.
And you getting old.
I'm getting old. He want to take the test. The pencil ain't as sharp as it used to be, but it still writes. You know what I'm saying?
I ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was.
Maybe only once. But it's so weird because it's so hard showing your kids how to love Jesus in today's society. Whether it's pornography, just all the things that are out there, and we struggle with all of it. We walk through all of it, and me and my wife are very different in some of our approaches. I am a stickler on the day to day, and I seem, it's weird, I seem to show more grace when it comes to their spiritual walk, and I think it's the backgrounds we grew up in. I grew up in a home where Christianity was almost pushed on me.
Right.
And so like I really want to give my children the opportunity, like, no, you don't have an option to go to church, but I'm not going to make you do the extra things that you don't want to do. Like we're gonna walk in this together, where she wants to make them do that. And I get it, because she didn't grow up in this same home where they did do Bible study at night, but it was because they wanted to do Bible study at night. And so that's where, for me, I feel like at times I panic because they're teenagers. And I'm like, I've only got 3-4 more years, and you're not getting it the way I want you to get it. So like now I'm gonna drop the hammer. Like and so like we walk through that. But I think the biggest struggles is now giving them some distance from us and letting them learn. It's scary. Like when I'm like, go figure it out. Like I love you, and I want you to wade through this, and whether it's cell phones or video games or friends. Last night, Charlie had a friend over this, and it was like 9 o'clock at night. Like, hey, we're gonna go get ice cream. And my initial thought was like, who's getting ice cream?
Right.
You getting ice cream? Because that's a really dumb statement. But I'm like, you know what? This other girl is a great girl. This is a great opportunity to allow them to have this moment.
Yeah.
And I said, you need to be home by this time. Don't be a minute late.
Yeah.
Different things like that. We've let our kids. We went to Disney this past June, and my kids decided to go ride rides without us, which makes me a little nervous.
Yeah.
But there's a point. So the struggle for us is trying to help them find their identity. I think that's the biggest thing. Find their identity in Christ, but allow them to find it.
Yeah.
Not me.
Yeah.
So yeah.
That's
so
good.
your struggles. I've been down your road. You're in the thick of it from 9 to 5.
Well, about to be 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she's not 5. She's going on 25.
Yes. Got the purse. Got like this morning, I tried to help her with her purse, and I did it wrong.
Yeah, you did.
And she cried.
Yeah.
And I said, "What did I do?" She says, "I don't know." So it's all the things. I think for us, it is seeing the different personalities with our kids, and Lauren is absolutely amazing. With her patience, with all 3 of our kids, even though it's tough because they're all different. Like you see in Ephesians 4, you have the office of the church. You have apostles, prophets, evangelists, shepherds, and teachers. And looking at my kids' giftings, just personality and everything, Deuce is an apostle, right? He has older kids who he plays with that follows him.
Mm-hmm.
Like he just has that innate, natural ability. Xavi is my shepherd.
Yeah.
Xavi is, he's still asking me how my ankle's doing from like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
When I rolled it really bad. And he still cares.
Yeah.
He's the one who, like, Lauren was taking a nap yesterday and he kissed her on her forehead. And he is just the caring.
Yeah.
Kaya's our prophet. Prophets are fun to be around. You know what I'm saying? But it's like trying to steward our kids' giftings to help them flourish.
Yeah.
Because you think about you went to college for a little bit. Did you change your major?
Yeah, like 6 times.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that our kids have to go to college, but it's like they get to 18, 19, 20, and they're struggling to figure out,
right,
what am I supposed to do? Who am I?
Well, and the scary part is we're in an era now where they want them to make that decision even earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Middle school, they want them to know their career. I'm like,
it's just like helping our kids. If they go to college, good. If they don't, good. But it's like trying to help them with knowing their gifting. You can't talk to a shepherd the same way that you talk to a prophet.
Absolutely.
You can't talk to a teacher the same way that you would talk to an evangelist. They're not going to respond that way, or they're not going to respond good in that way. So it's like learning. And for me, speaking with Deuce is, I don't want to say it's easy, but I get it. He is exactly like me in personality. The questions that I can ask him to reach him is great. Xavi, Kaya,
Yeah.
like I said, I was like, what did I do wrong? She's like, I don't know. And she's crying. And I'm just like, I don't know. I want to help you, but I don't know how,
Yeah.
and it bothers me to no end when I can't help anybody.
Yeah.
Whenever I feel like I am helpless. So we're like, Lauren and I are talking about, okay, these are their giftings. How do we reach them where they're at? How do we get them to respond in a manner that is going to edify them, that's going to help them, so that whenever they are teenagers, whenever they are, young adults, that, not saying that it'll be easy, but they'll know who they are.
Right.
to where they can figure out
That's good.
life, you know,
Well, and I think that's the
in
I
a
think
healthy
that's
manner.
that should be the hope and the toughness. Like I even think of my two, like my son, he is looks like me, but more like his mama. Where
Absolutely.
my daughter looks just like my wife and is more like me. With
Exactly like
him,
you.
with him, um, everything is analyzed when we discuss things. All I have to do with Charlie is say, "You failed," and
Falls apart.
falls apart.
Yeah.
Because she's wired to succeed. That's why
Yeah.
she's motivated and she wants to change the world.
Yeah.
And not that Ethan, like where Charlie would go, like this is the best way to put it. If there was 1,000 starfish on the beach, Charlie would go and try to throw every single one of them back in. Ethan couldn't because he'd have spent 7 hours on the first one.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah.
And trying to help them be who they're called to be, like you said, in a world that makes it very confusing.
Yeah.
So as we talk about this, what I know we were going to talk about goals, but what do you think is the biggest mistake? Not that we don't make mistakes. I want to be clear. We do, but biggest mistake the parents are making today.
I would say trying to buy our kids things that we never had instead of teaching them things that we never knew.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I think trying to buy them the world, trying to make life easy, to where there's no struggle. I think that's a big part of why we are the way that we are in our culture, because all of a sudden it's bad to struggle. It's bad to have adversity. It's bad to sweat. It's bad to do these things. Like, we literally are creating a culture to where we ain't got to do anything.
Yeah.
People buy our groceries for us and deliver it.
Yeah.
People deliver our fast food.
Yeah.
People do everything for us. Like, we don't have to sit through commercials anymore. Like, we don't have to do anything like that anymore. Like, literally,
anything that inconveniences you can be eliminated.
It's eliminated. And we're doing that in teaching our kids heartache, teaching our kids to be bored, teaching it's okay to be bored.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to sit and not have anything to do.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to struggle. It's okay to fall down.
Yeah.
Like, it's okay to have tension in your life where you're struggling with something. It's absolutely okay. But we are creating a culture to where it's like, nah, don't struggle.
Yeah.
Don't have calluses. Don't have, and that's not even from a machismo standpoint. It's just like, even emotionally.
Yeah.
Like, don't struggle emotionally. Don't sweat emotionally. Don't have these pains emotionally. But it's about buying our kids things that we never had and giving them a life that we never had, instead of teaching them what we never knew.
I mean, because that's so. It's crazy that we do that, because my question would be like, what is so bad about your life that your kids couldn't have, just even what your life is?
Yeah.
I think the thing I'd add to that thing I see parents doing is trying to have their kids live out the life that they didn't get to live out. Which is kind of in the same, like, whether it's athletically, educationally, like all of it. Like, the burden we put on our kids to be great is so scary.
Yeah.
Like, I think about it all the time. Like, as parents, are we blessings to our kids or are we burdens to our kids?
Yeah.
You and I have both worked with student ministries, whether it's youth reach or in churches and student ministries for so long. And it's so saddening to me, the amount of kids that speak to us about their biggest struggle is their parents.
Yeah.
Like the thing that should be their safety net, their protection, is the thing harming them the most.
Yeah.
And I even think about that. Like, me and you have talked about that recently. I played ball growing up until I got hurt. And I told you, I said, I don't know if I played because I loved it or if I loved playing because they loved me playing.
Yeah.
And that's a scary thought. Like, what if your kid, and I'm living it. Like, my kid doesn't want to do that. My daughter was a dancer. She just decided she doesn't want to do that anymore. And I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Like, I would argue, if my son played sports, we probably wouldn't have the relationship we have right now. So I'd really think that we have to. I think it goes into our next question. What is your goal as a parent?
I would say initially making sure that my identity is in Christ and not my kids, in all aspects, in all fronts. Because if that's not the case, then I will become harmful to my kids, and they will resent me, and they will feel this pressure. But ultimately, I want my kids to walk out their God-given giftings and their call. Lauren and I pray that over them every single night. We pray with them that, Lord, please make the gospel tangible for them so that they can see how great you are.
Yeah.
So that they can serve you better than we could ever serve you. And what that looks like, whether it's ministry, full-time, whether it's in, Deuce wants to be a zoo man, because he loves animals.
Right.
And he knows a whole lot about animals, self-taught.
Yeah.
Xavi, he wants to work at Chuck E. Cheese.
He wants to be a ninja by night.
He wants to be a ninja and a cowboy.
Cowboy at day, ninja
by night.
That's our secret identity.
And Kyle wants to live with us forever. So, we have 3 different things, and we got clearly a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I want our kids to love Jesus, not in spite of us.
Yeah. Oh, that's good. So you said them to find their identity. Do you think our kids can't find our identity because we idolize them too much?
I think that's a part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I would say because we idolize them, if you want to know if you idolize your kids, imagine what it'll be like when they're gone.
Yeah.
Because I think we see it all the time.
Yeah.
People that don't even know how to be married to each other more because they forgot how to love each other because the kids were there.
Yeah.
I think it's a sad statement.
And our life is centered around their extracurricular activities, their education.
And this is just a little side note. When you idolize your kids, don't think they don't know it. Like they feel the pressure. They know. I remember distinctly the day I knew that baseball was over, and the only thing I was upset about is how was my dad going to feel? How were people going to feel? Because this is who they had decided I was.
Right.
And so, I don't want that for my kids. Like right now, my son wants to be a history teacher. My daughter feels like she's called to ministry. Ryan will probably be with us forever. And I tell both of my kids, I want to support you in that, but if it changes tomorrow, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
Because I remember when I first went into school, I wanted to be Jerry Maguire because it just came out, and baseball was over. So I was like, if I can't play baseball, I can be a sports agent.
Right.
Help someone show him the money.
Yeah.
And then I realized you got to go to school as long as you do to be a doctor. So I was like, oh no. I don't want to do that anymore.
Yeah.
And then I wanted to be a nurse, and then I realized you had to a lot of gross stuff involved with that, and I was like, I don't want to do that either.
You ain't built for it.
I'm built for that life.
Yeah.
And luckily the Lord told me what I was supposed to do.
Right.
And I went down that road.
Yeah.
The only thing I would add as far as where I think we're mine went blank, messing, or the advice I would give to parents is God loves your kids more than you do.
Yeah.
And if you believe that, then you should be pouring them on him and allowing him to mold them and just use you as a byproduct in that.
Yeah.
And I think that's where we fail too often in that. Yeah.
Yeah. I think the only thing that I would add, and it's probably always going to be a question at the end, is how often do we get mad at our kids for disobeying us when they're just imitating us?
Ooh, that's good.
We get mad at them, but they're just doing what they see.
Yeah. mirroring.
They're mirroring what we're doing.
Yeah.
And so it's like if we truly love Jesus and we want to see our kids grow, maybe we should start growing as well.
Absolutely. I think that's so powerful. Like, when's the last time you apologize for your kids for overreacting?
Yeah.
Like, parents don't apologize because they almost like they don't deserve it. Like,
Yeah.
I think that was one of those powerful things that me and my wife started doing is when we overreacted or acted in a way that wasn't right, even if it wasn't towards them, just in general, to be able to pull our kids in the room and say, I'm so sorry that I acted that way.
Yeah.
If you want to know why your kids don't talk to you, because you're probably not approachable.
Yeah.
That's just a scary thought, but it's probably the truth.
Right.
No, that's good.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been Culture on Tap. Thank you for tapping in with us. Catch us next time. We'll have more content with you coming soon.
See you later, guys.